Subscribe, hype, like, click the notification bell and turn on all notifications. And donate with a super thanks donation in the comments section below for the unfiltered, unapologetic SeanzViewEnt, your home for WWE news, rumors, and backstage chaos. This is where gossip gets exposed around the clock. Now, here's your host, the brash SeanzViewEnt.
Sami Zayn just became the WWE champion at Night of Champions on ESPN, but all anyone can talk about, it seems like, is when he's going to lose it. Who's he going to drop it to? Who's he going to face? Who's he going to go against? Is he going to be a transitional champion? Is it going to be hot potato to somebody else? Where is Sami Zayn's fate going to go? Will it be a forgettable run? Will it be unforgettable? Will it be memorable? Is he going to drop it to Brock Lesnar? Is it going to be Brock Lesnar and Oba Femi at SummerSlam? Or is Sami Zayn going to shock the world again and be the WWE champion for a lot longer than you anticipated, for a lot longer than you expected? Because just when you thought Sami Zayn, just when you thought you could count him out, Sami Zayn comes up big when it matters at the end of the day. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we had a jam-packed weekend of professional wrestling, PLEs, special events, pay-per-view extravaganzas. We had it all, and I want to hear from you in the comment section. What do you feel? What do you think was the PLE or the pay-per-view of the weekend between AEW, TNA, WWE, NXT? There was a lot to get into. There was a lot to take in. There was a lot to witness. And boy, I'll tell you what, it doesn't stop because now we got Monday Night Raw tonight. And according to those in the know and think plans can change, it would appear as if the opening segment for tonight's WWE Raw will focus on the King of the Ring. Oba Femi will kick off the show tonight on Raw. Can you imagine what Oba's going to want to say, what he's going to do? What is going to be the fate in the future of the WWE's Raw brand? And then you got Roman Reigns on the same show. You got to wonder, will Roman Reigns and Oba Femi meet face to face? Will they be in the same ring at the same time? Viewers, fans, and subscribers. Is Oba going to make his choice tonight as to what he's going to do at SummerSlam? Or is Oba going to wait? Is he going to think about it? Is he going to consider it? Is he going to stay on Raw? Is he going to go to SmackDown? And there's been a lot of chilling rumors. There's been a lot of gossip. There's been a lot of speculation as it concerns the best in the world, CM Punk, and whether or not he will have his last Raw appearance tonight or next week before he transitions, before he moves over to the Blue Brand of SmackDown on Friday nights on the USA Network. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, we have a lot lined up for you because this is your undisputed place to be. Remember to check out my channel multiple times a day so you get the best of the brash and the brazen, because we always set the precedent at an all-time high, because we truly do believe in the viewers, the fans, and the subscribers that make this show what it is. You guys are the foundation. We bleed through to you so you don't have to. Now, ladies and gentlemen, with Sami Zayn expected tonight, this week, Sami Zayn has been riding around. He's been taken to the streets. And who's in the passenger side? Not a person, not a girl, not a female, not a girlfriend, not a wife. Sami Zayn driving around his undisputed WWE Championship title. And again, everyone's wondering about who's he going to drop it to, who's he going to lose it to. Well, what about how many more odds he's going to overcome? Or what about how many more titles could he win with the undisputed WWE title? Is Sami Zayn going to try to maneuver himself back into the bloodline again? There's been a lot of rumor and gossip about Sami Zayn returning to the bloodline once again, since the WWE seemingly is going back to that storyline once again. But really, did it truly ever end? And now with Roman Reigns returning on Raw tonight, and I don't know how many returns this has already been for Roman Reigns. I mean, it seems like every time Roman Reigns shows up on WWE TV, they label it as a return. So Roman Reigns will be on Raw tonight, and you got to wonder, what is Roman Reigns going to address? What is he going to say? And who will be the next target for Jacob Fatu? You would have to seemingly believe it's going to be Seth Rollins. The same Seth Rollins who got a win. The same Seth Rollins who got a victory over Braun Breaker inside the steel cage at WWE Night of Champions. And there was a lot of rumor and gossip. There was a lot of speculation that coming out of that event that Braun Breaker had severe eye damage, that Braun Breaker could have been blind, or he could have had his vision obstructed inside that steel cage match where Braun Breaker was absolutely busted wide open. And it was gnarly, and it was ugly, and it was a vicious steel cage match. But ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't probably get more vicious than the news, the rumors, the gossip, and the speculation that we're going to bring to you right here in this very video, because according to those in the know, the WWE Monday Night Raw return date to the USA Network, has it finally been leaked? Is it out there, ladies and gentlemen? Does Raw come back safe, or does Raw come back angry? That is the chance. That is the choice. And right now, WWE may not have the luxury of playing it safe. AEW is still fighting for attention. TNA is still getting more buzz. NXT keeps building momentum. Fans are comparing every show, every card, every rating, and every angle, and every surprise. So if Raw starts feeling cold, WWE cannot ignore it. The flagship show has to feel like the flagship show. That means stronger stories, sharper promos, more personal rivalries, less predictable endings, and more consequences. More moments where the show feels like it could fall apart before the night is absolutely over. Now, with the Raw, perhaps the return date to USA Network being leaked, being exposed online, we're going to get into that. They have to bring it back with suspense. They have to bring it back like the monster has finally been let out of the cage for the red brand of Raw. It should feel like Triple H looking over the entire wrestling industry and saying, you want Raw to feel dangerous? Now watch what happens when it comes home to the USA Network. It should feel like a warning shot, because Raw coming back to USA Network should not feel like a normal move. Do they make it just another business headline, or do they make it the start of a new era? If WWE Raw really has a USA Network return date being discussed after Netflix contract fallout, potentially, what does the WWE ultimately do with it? Once fans start asking the questions, WWE has to answer them thorough, and they have to do it through the product. Not with corporate statements, not with vague announcements, not with television that feels impossible to skip. You need a shocking opening. You need a fight that spills through the arena. You need a promo that feels too real. You need a main event that does not end clean. You need a final image that makes fans say, I have to watch next week. That is how Raw gets its urgency back, if that return date does in fact get leaked online. And again, the feeling, the thought, the guesswork is that if Raw were to return because of contract fallout, because Netflix were not getting the ratings, the viewership that they were anticipating, that they were expecting, and Netflix just canceled a bunch of shows, guys. Netflix just got rid of about 3 shows, okay? 3 shows that people liked, that were interested in, that were invested in. Could Raw be canned? Could Raw be canceled? Could Raw be on its way out of Netflix and its return to the USA Network? And if a return date does get leaked, we are receiving word at this time and at this hour that another segment has been revealed for WWE Monday Night Raw tonight. Joe Hendry is bringing more than his entrance music to WWE Raw tonight. In a last-minute update before tonight's show in Atlantic City, WWE has announced that Hendry will perform live during the broadcast. WWE broke the news on X with a message to fans, and they immediately recognized it. Did somebody say his name? We're getting a live musical performance by Joe Hendry tonight on Raw. That's all WWE needed to say to get people talking. Hendry has become one of wrestling's biggest viral stars, and thanks to his catchy entrance theme and his over-the-top performances, now he is taking things a step further with a live musical performance on Raw tonight. And again, it is expected that tonight we'll have a double taping of Raw, because as we all know, the July 4th holiday is coming up. So don't expect Raw and SmackDown to be live around July 4th to around July 8th or 9th, because it will be a taped show. Your thoughts, your comments, your opinions from the get-go. Also, people say Raw has lost its edge. People say Raw has become too comfortable, too predictable. People say Monday Night Raw does not feel dangerous anymore. So tonight, we might announce the date, the return, the leak of Raw to USA, where the comfort will absolutely end. That line gives the return meaning. It tells the fans that the company knows what is being said. It tells the roster that the rules are changing. It tells USA Network they are not just getting Raw back. They are getting a different Raw, a louder Raw, a darker Raw, a Raw with something to prove. Because if fans believe Raw is going back to USA Network because Netflix failed, that makes the move look like damage control. But the WWE has to be careful with this one. And if a USA Network return date is really being discussed, then every episode before that point becomes part of the countdown. A USA Network return could be the perfect excuse to make all of this happen, as they want Raw to feel alive. They want segments and backstage segments that do not feel overly polished. They want matches where the outcome matters. They want characters who sound like they are meant to say what they say. You know what I'm saying? More personal rivalries, less predictable endings, more consequences. That is how you turn a rumored return date to the USA Network for Monday Night Raw into a storyline that people actually care about, that people are interested in, that people are invested in. That's what it's all about here on the Brash and the Brazen, where we keep you in the know and we fine-tune it for each and every one of you. Also, Tony Khan reveals Jay White's return came down to the wire before AEW Forbidden Door last night. Conan, who has had some major difficulties with his health. According to those that know, Conan, as we all know, is going into the TNA Hall of Fame, and Conan has turned the corner after a serious health battle, where it would appear as if he had a double amputation of both knees. Mike Santana likely WWE bound, considering after he lost at last night's TNA Slammiversary's main event. So look for Mike Santana on the main roster at WWE, and are you interested and invested in that? Also, Mercedes Moné has hinted at AEW match with Bayley as WWE contract nears its expiration. Also, the canceled plans for Jon Moxley at AEW All in London have been revealed online. Jon Moxley apparently knew exactly who he wanted to wrestle at Wembley Stadium. AEW, however, had a different idea. With AEW All in London still 2 months away, the card has already taken shape. Will Ospreay is set to challenge MJF for the AEW World Championship, while Mercedes Moné will go after Thekla in the AEW Women's title. Jon Moxley, Dean Ambrose, meanwhile, is still the AEW Continental Champion after knocking off Bandito at Forbidden Door, but his all-in plans still remain a mystery. Now we have one match that isn't happening. We may now know. Again, we may know one match that isn't happening. Self-Made Pro revealed that Moxley personally wanted to face Kenny Omega at Wembley, and according to that report, he was told AEW is not doing that match at All In. I'm really curious to see what Jon Moxley is doing at Wembley, because I was told he wanted to work Kenny Omega, and I was told they're not doing it at Wembley. John wanted Kenny at Wembley. Over the last month, Moxley and Omega have crossed paths multiple times, including a backstage segment involving Omega and Will Ospreay, where Moxley and Omega locked eyes long enough to get the fans talking. It looked like AEW was planting the seeds for a match down the road, which is why hearing that match isn't happening at Wembley comes as a surprise. Your thoughts, your comments, and your opinions. Also, massive shakeups in TNA wrestling following Slammiversary. What we know about that. TNA Slammiversary wasn't just another big show. Behind the scenes, it also marked the start of what is supposed to be a new creative era for the company. Several creative changes come out of the weekend, and the biggest one is Tommy Dreamer being gone from TNA, which is what the world knows. The public framing may have sounded mutual, but the situation was not that simple. TNA let Dreamer go. Hunter Johnson, better known to wrestling fans as Delirious, has now stepped up in a bigger creative role. One longtime TNA name said that they were excited to see what Johnson does with the opportunity. Another source said that Johnson was not in danger when Dreamer was let go because he was not viewed as part of TNA's creative problems. Eric Thompson is also getting more involved creatively. TNA sources said Eric was behind the vision for the AJ Francis segment from a couple of weeks ago, which got strong reviews. Talent also credited him with contributed a lot to other segments over the years. Road Dogg is also coming in, but that move has not been last-second panic button. Again, that move was not some last-second panic button after Slammiversary. His arrival has been planned for a while, so the Road Doggy Dog, the ROAD-DOGG, one half of the tag team champions of the world, coming in to TNA. And you got to wonder, we're just going to see the brilliance, perhaps the smartness of the Road Dogg on the creative team. Also, the WWE's plans for Sami Zayn as the WWE champion, as the WWE has kicked around an idea for surprising Sami Zayn title feud. Ladies and gentlemen, according to the Dirt Sheets, the websites and the newsletter, Sami Zayn may have won the undisputed WWE title at Night of Champions this weekend, but one possible challenger has already been kicked around inside WWE. I got a DM from somebody, according to Self-Made Session, in WWE after I made my Chad Gable post. So a WWE person sent it back to me with an eye emoji. Naturally, Self-Made wanted to know what that meant. The answer he got was short, but it confirmed the idea that at least it has been discussed behind the scenes. Chad Gable, Sami Zayn, the undisputed WWE Championship. That's where the source stopped short of confirming anything. For the belt, the reply I got was, I don't know about that. So basically, the source is implying to me that they might actually do Chad and Sammy. That's the real story here. Nobody is saying Chad Gable is next in line for the title. Nobody is saying SummerSlam is the plan, but the matchup itself has apparently been kicked around internally, which is enough to get people talking. Would you want to see for the undisputed WWE title at a high marquee event like SummerSlam, Chad Gable, Sami Zayn, one-on-one, and probably what would be one of the greatest pure wrestling matches that you will see all year long, ladies and gentlemen. That's my estimation on that. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to last long. We're going to be strong. Sean's View Entertainment keeps you glued to your screens because that's what it means to me. So as you can see, a lot of blockbuster updates, a lot of changes, a lot of developments, a lot of emotion going into this very episode where this is not your last resort, where there will be no suffocation and there will be a lot of breathing. There will be a lot of talking. There will be a lot of verbations going on. It will be the talk of the town. Remember, Monday Night Raw comes on at a special start time around 6 o'clock. Get ready, get willing, and get able. Because will Raw be stable if it does indeed return with its return date leaked to the USA Network? Subscribe.